Okay, let's do it. Stay tuned. YouTube, and welcome to this ranking video. So, as you already know, this is a ranking of all 23 installments of all the films within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All 23 films ranked up. It took me a while to get them ranked, but I've done it now, so let's go from 23 to number 1. All this is my personal opinion, so no one has to agree with this. If you have your own opinion, then please, by all means, share yours down below in the comments. Okay, but this is all my opinion, so yeah, here we go. So, coming in at number 23 is Iron Man 3, number 22 is Thor the Dark World, and number 21 is The Incredible Hulk. So, Iron Man 3 I thought was an alright film. I had high hopes for it, but I can't forgive them for that big twist they did on the Mandarin. You know, I was expecting Ben Kingsley to be a great villain, and they just did that, made him an actor, and the real Mandarin was Guy Pearce's character, and I can't remember his name. But I find a lot of these people in this film forgettable, other than Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. Yeah, this just wasn't a great way to kick off Phase 3, and it just wasn't a good way to end the Iron Man films. Well, at least the solo outings of them. Yeah, I have to admit I was a little let down by that one, Iron Man 3. Had a good post-credit though with Bruce Banner. And Thor the Dark World I put at number 22 because this, well, it was the Dark World, but I also thought it was a bit boring. I mean, it had good visuals with Asgard, but the story, the villain, played by Christopher Eccleston, I honestly can't remember his name, because I found him that forgettable in the film. This just sort of introduced the reality stone in the MCU. I mean, the performances when that were all there, but the story just really let it down for me. So that's not my favourite of the Thor films. And at 21 I put The Incredible Hulk. Now I think this is incredibly underrated. Yes, it's not the best film, okay, this is the second outing in the MCU, but this was basically before the Marvel Cinematic Universe knew what it wanted to be. You know, I mean, the only connection it does have is Tony Stark's cameo at the end. There's no post or mid-credit scenes in this, and you know, I thought the Hulk was good, but I thought Ed Norton's portrayal of Bruce Banner, I thought he was just a bit bland and a bit boring, if I'm being all honest. So, yeah. Abomination as well was a bit like, didn't look anything like in the comics. And, yeah. But like I said, this was the MCU in its teething stages. You know, it's only just starting out. They didn't know if this was going to take off as a cinematic universe at this point. So those are numbers 23 to 21. So, next one. At number 20 is Iron Man 2. Number 19, Thor. Number 18, Captain America, the First Avenger. And number 17, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So Thor, ever since that post-credit scene in Iron Man 2 where we get a close look at Volmir, it teased a Thor film. And now, I actually thought this film was good when it came out. I definitely enjoyed it a lot. But I do have to say, I think the sequels and the later Thor films did get better. Well, not Thor the Dark World, but Ragnarok. That is definitely the best Thor film by far. I mean, it's, you know, we'll get to that a little later in this list, but Thor, I thought it was a good film, a lot better than the second film. Yeah, Then I put Captain America, the First Avenger. Again, I enjoyed the hell out of this film. I loved the whole, how it was set in the past, how it has like some sort of prequelness to Iron Man. And I thought Chris Evans was great. You know, definitely redeemed himself from being the Human Torch. And yeah, I just really loved this one, especially with Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull. It just had action and everything, but a lot more of these films have took its place in quality in a lot. And then I put the Winter Soldier. I thought this was better than the first film. We got the return of Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier. We got Captain America readjusting to modern society, but still haunted by the past that he lost. And that, but yeah, it was a good sequel. Definitely not one of the best Captain Americas. Well, again, we'll get to Captain America Civil War a little later. And yeah. So, next at number 16 is Iron Man. Number 15, AntMan. Number 14, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And number 13, Doctor Strange. So, Iron Man. I know I'm crapping all over Phase 1. But I will say to you, Phase 1 was a good start for the MCU. I'm not saying they're crap altogether, but just think though, these films, all the later films, I think are better, and that's the whole point of like a franchise. The next film needs to outdo the predecessor, and that's what I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe have managed to do. But yeah, Iron Man, the first film, was a great way to kick things off. In fact, I don't think any of us at this point knew that this was the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I wasn't even aware of the post-credit scenes until I saw the one for Iron Man 2. Then I looked and thought, oh, Iron Man 1's got one. And then I looked at it, God, all these MCU films have got post-credit scenes. So, yeah, turns out that it was setting things in motion for something so much big from that cameo from Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson. But, Iron Man was a great way to kick things off, but a lot of films have outdone it since, I'm afraid. Going back to Iron Man 2 at number 20, I forgot to mention. Iron Man 2, again, see, Iron Man 2 I found a bit forgettable. Mickey Rourke as Whiplash. I thought it was underdeveloped. There was so much underdevelopment with characters in that, and it just felt like a filler episode of a series. Back on to the others. I put number 15, Ant-Man. Now, I thought Ant-Man was an enjoyable film. It was good, it was actiony, it was definitely let us know it was set in the MCU. Paul Rudd, I thought was great in this. He was the comic relief as well as the main hero. We had other comical moments in this one, and I just liked it. I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, I know I keep saying that about them all, but they're all good films, which is why it was not easy to rank these up. And then I put Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, I thought this was a little... Well, I thought the first Guardians of the Galaxy was great. The second one was good. We got better visuals, better scenery, better locations and stuff. The soundtrack wasn't as good as the first one, but I do like some of them songs from the Volume 2 soundtrack, including that original one they made for the film, Guardians Inferno. I thought Kurt Russell was a great, villain, ego. And yeah, I feel Yondu redeemed himself as a character a lot more, but I love the first one a little bit more than the second, which we will get to later on. And at number 13 I put Doctor Strange. Now, I thought Benedict Cumberbatch, when I saw early drafts and pictures of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, I thought he looked good. The only knowledge of Doctor Strange I had before the 2016 film was from him making brief appearances in like the 90s Spider-Man animated series or the Incredible Hulk animated series. But yeah, I definitely got a good knowing of this character in the 2016 film. But like I said, so much more films have done so well since then, but Doctor Strange, I remember having a blast watching it, and there was a lot of good sequences, including Benedict Cumberbatch also playing the main villain in it too, which we didn't see much of. But yeah, Doctor Strange, at first he's like a bit of an overconfident man, a bit of oh yeah, look at me, I'm a neurosurgeon, I've got great hands. But then once he loses his hands, well, the usage of his hands, he soon learns to value life differently, and he becomes a different person when he becomes the wizard that would be succeed the Ancient One. I had no idea the Ancient One was also a man in the comics, so like I said, I had very little knowing of Doctor Strange. So, next we got, coming in at number 12, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 11, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 10, Captain Marvel. And at number 9, Spider-Man Homecoming. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I thought, great sequel. We got to see not just Ant-Man this time, but is that her name? Evangelina Lilly? Playing Hope Van Dyne, becoming the Wasp since that mid-credit teaser. I thought she was badass and sexy. And, this I feel didn't really have a really big villain in this. Mind you, the person that was doing all the bad stuff had a justifiable motive for it and just wanted to be human, wanted to be cured from her ghostliness. Paul Rudd still delivered the humour for it, and I just thought this was a little better than the first film. It also was a great way for us to, get over the shock we had at the time from Avengers Infinity War with the snap, but the mid-credit scene soon overlapped, soon collided, they collided in with the events of it, and I thought, oh no, how's he going to get out of this one? But we found out in Endgame. Then Avengers Age of Ultron. This, I thought, was an okay one, but Ultron was a unique... Well, I mean, we've had evil robots before, like the Terminator films and that, but I thought he was somewhat of a unique artificial being, Ultron. Also, Jarvis finally got brought to life as a person by becoming Vision. I also like that they brought Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver into it, even though I thought they were kids of Magneto, but now that X-Men can join the MCU, maybe that could still happen, I don't know. Shame about Quicksilver in that. I didn't like that they killed Quicksilver, played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson. I just remember this being a good sequel, but not as good as the first one. Definitely not as good as the last two, which we will get to later on in this list. And at number 10 I put Captain Marvel. Now, I thought this was a great one. I enjoyed it. We're in the top 10 now. I enjoyed Captain Marvel. It was the first ever female-led Marvel film. I mean, yeah, we had Ant-Man and the Wasp, but that was still technically a sequel to Ant-Man, and Ant-Man was sort of like still... You know what I mean, but... Yeah, Captain Marvel, I just enjoyed it. I loved that it was set in the... I loved the 90s tone in it, the way I saw a lot of 90s stuff in it, like A World Before Broadband, the Game Boy, the 90s soundtrack. I just loved that. It was so reminiscent for me as a kid, listening to all that music, as a kid of the 90s, of course, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I liked how we got to see Nick Fury, how he became the man we know him as. And, great film. And at number 9, I put Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, I think, the first two Spider-Man films from the Sam Raimi trilogy were great. Spider-Man 2, I loved more than the first film. I did. Spider-Man 3, it was okay. A bit too cheesy, but alright. The Amazing Spider-Man, I thought, was a bit slow-paced, but I guess the action sort of was alright in it. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I just thought was more like focused on Electro and etc. But I think bringing Spider-Man into the MCU, having joint custody, Sony and Marvel, Sony giving Spider-Man to the MCU is the best decision they could have ever have done, because I loved Homecoming. I loved that they got Tom Holland as Spider-Man after that whole thing with Captain America Civil War. I like that they finally brought Vulture into it. I mean, I would have liked to have seen John Malkovich as Vulture, but Michael Keaton was just as good, and he had a justifiable motive for what he did. I like the whole mentoring relationship, that like surrogate father figure that he has with Tony Stark in this. I actually think Iron Man was good as a supporting character in this one, and yeah, it was like Peter Parker trying to be a teenager, but a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Okay, so at number 8 we have Guardians of the Galaxy. At number 7 we have Spider-Man Far From Home. And at number 6 we got Black Panther. And at number 5, Thor Ragnarok. Now, when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, it was a bit of a downtime in my life because my grandfather had passed away that same week I saw it. But, upon rewatching it again and again, I started to love Guardians of the Galaxy more. In fact, even my parents love Guardians of the Galaxy. With its soundtrack, with its action, with its comedy. It's a fun film, a fun sci-fi space outing, and for the first time ever in the MCU, we weren't just on Earth. We were out in space, in the galaxy, and I just loved Groot in this. He was such a lovable, like, dumb guy in the first film with that, I am Groot. He was cute and adorable in the second one. I also like Rocket Raccoon. He's my favourite Guardian, I think, Rocket. And Drax the Destroyer, he too is funny. I just liked them a lot more in this first film. It was a great one. A great film for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then at number 7, I put the most recent installment, Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, when I watched this, I thought, yep, Spider-Man Far From Home has definitely outdone it for me with Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming. Probably the best Spider-Man film yet. And I enjoyed Tom Holland returning, being a bit smarter, not as and a bit wiser, but still just a bit in the gullibleness. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, I thought he was brilliant in this. I won't give too much away about the plot because it's still fairly new, but yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot, Spider-Man Far From Home. Number 6, I put Black Panther because I thought this was like the first MCU film to have a black lead actor. Probably the first Marvel film in 20 years to have a black lead actor since Blade. Blade's Marvel Comics, not MCU, but still a Marvel film. I love Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther. I love the powers and the suit of the Black Panther. I love Wakanda. I mean, it's a fictional country, but my God, were the visuals in that just so colourful and bright. I just remember having a blast watching this film, and yeah, it was a great way to get us into the Marvel mood for 2018 before, a little bit of fun before we get to the serious battle of Infinity War. Then at number 5, I put Thor Ragnarok. Now, I think this is the best Thor film ever. Thor 1 was okay, Thor 2 was not so good, but Thor Ragnarok, I absolutely loved to hell. I loved, when he ends up on Sakaar, and he meets Korg, played by the film's director Taika Waititi. Korg was just funny and stole the show for me in some moments with Meek, the little insect. I thought, their characters I feel weren't as memorable and what have you in Planet Hulk, but in Thor Ragnarok I loved what they did with them. They were so funny, and I was so happy to see them in Endgame, and that they were well and alive. I really did. But another one that really stood out for me was the Hulk. The Hulk is my favourite Marvel hero ever. Why he hasn't got a solo film with Mark Ruffalo, I don't know if it's on rights or something. But Marvel Universal, you need to do something here. Try and give Mark Ruffalo a solo outing as Hulk, please. Anyway, yes, I thought Thor was well more developed in this by becoming King of Asgard, and he didn't even need the Hammer of Mjolnir to deal with his sister. And it turns out that the whole prophecy of Ragnarok was inevitable anyway, but he found new home on Earth. Loki, I feel as well. I found him more likeable in this, more of a a more developed character and more friendly and more like he's redeemed himself. And it's a shame he died in the opening scene of Infinity War. Yeah. But Thor Ragnarok, best Thor film ever, in my opinion. So the final four, let's get to them. So at number 4 we have Captain America Civil War. Number 3, The Avengers. Number 2, Avengers Infinity War. And number 1, it can't be any surprise, it's Avengers Endgame. So, Captain America Civil War, I thought, great way to start Phase 3. It was Captain America, but I felt that this was like an Avengers 3.2 or 2.3. You know, like 2.5 or something. And me, I was Team Captain America. I mean, yeah, he had a falling out with Stark. The villain in it, I don't remember his name, but, just think, one man being able to break up the Avengers, This gave us the introduction of Black Panther and Spider-Man. And Captain America just wanted to do what was right, even if it meant doing wrong. He just wanted to protect his friend Bucky, because he was brainwashed. In this, it deals with like betrayal, friendship, etc. But great action in it, and yeah, I enjoy watching it. I get why they brought the Russo brothers back, because they did the Winter Soldier, but then they came back and they did Civil War and the next few Avengers films, and the Russo brothers, I think, have outdone themselves now. Yeah. Okay, and at number 3 is The Avengers. Phase 1 was all about building the Avengers up, and my god, was it so worth it. I thought, to me, the Hulk was the best one. Recasting Ed Norton with Mark Ruffalo, I thought, I went too short at first, but, after the Hulk out, I enjoyed Mark Ruffalo. I fell in love with his take on the Hulk, and for me, Hulk is best one, ever. I loved the humour he delivered. I loved the other Avengers. I loved Thor. I loved Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and how Loki was the villain. I just loved this one. And I loved the teaser mid-credit scene we got with Thanos. Our first proper look at Thanos. And at first, I didn't know who he was. But, that was it was all about, the build-up to him. Yeah. Avengers, though, the first one, or if you're in the UK and Ireland, Avengers Assemble. Brilliant action film, and was my favourite of 2012. Okay, here we go. Number 1 and 2. So, Infinity War, I thought, was a great way for the beginning of the end for the Infinity Saga. This was all about Thanos collecting the stones, and for the first time ever, the Avengers, all the good guys, lost, and half the universe got wiped. Josh Brolin did great as Thanos, but the other people in this were great too. A little let down that we only saw the Hulk in the opening scene, but still, it just showed us more of how would Bruce Banner deal with these situations. We had great side stories with Captain America, all them lot on Earth, and then we were on Titan with Stark, Spider-Man, Strange, and half the Guardians. And then Thor, Rocket and Groot went off to build a new hammer, a new weapon for Thor, the Stormbreaker. That was my favourite side story, by the way. I don't know why, it just was. And I have to say, when Thor made his entrance on Wakanda, he stole the show for me. He really did. But yeah, Avengers Infinity War was a great way to start a 2-part story. But of course, Avengers Endgame, 3 hours long, and the hours just flew by like that because I was so captivated. Yeah, it did a 5-year time jump, but, for me, the final act, the final battle was just epic. Especially when the portals started to open, I was like, Doctor Strange is back! And then next thing, everyone came back. Everyone that was snapped away came back thanks to the Hulk. Yes, Professor Hulk snapping. And this, they actually went back in time to previous films in the MCU, including the first Avengers, Thor the Dark World, and yeah, I loved that Bruce was now in control of his Hulk half, and him and the Hulk shared one body. And Professor Hulk, which I'm cosplaying as at Comic-Con this year. yeah, I just like that. I like the little cameos as well in there, including the final cameo from Stan Lee. Yeah, I love the time travel action in this. I love the comedy in this. I love the action. This was everything the MCU had been waiting for. We got the entire MCU into one massive film, and it was epic. It was epic. It was fantastic. It was brilliant. We finally got to hear Captain America say, "Avengers, assemble," and him become worthy of Mjolnir ever since he managed to move it a tad in Age of Ultron. And yeah, I like that Captain America got the happy ending that he deserved after what he did for us all, you know. And I also admire Tony Stark's sacrifice, and it was actually sad to see him go, but he died a hero along with the Cap. He may not be dead, but he's out of the picture definitely because he's old now. Yeah, it was just a great way to wrap up the Infinity Saga. I mean, we still had one more installment to go, Spider-Man Far From Home, but this was the start of a great conclusion to Phase 3, and yeah, I look forward to what Phase 4's got to bring. So there you go! All 23 films of the MCU ranked up. I know this video's probably gone on a while, and my voice is getting tired now, so I'll wrap this up now. So yeah, that has been my ranking of all the MCU movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How would you rank these? Let's, tell me down in the comments below. We can have a discussion on it. So yeah, I've been Random Ross. This has been my ranking on every MCU movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So let me know what you think, down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are down below in the description. With my other channels, I have a horror channel which you can check out as well if you're into horror. I have a Doctor Who channel you can check out as well, excuse me, if you love Doctor Who. So yeah, that's it for this video. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, etc. And until next time, I bid you all a goodbye, friends, goodbye.